When children go to school smelling like marijuana, guess what? All the other children know what marijuana smells like and they tease them. Ha ha, your dad used marijuana. Ha ha, your dad doesn't have a job. Because children can be cruel. Just calling 2022 CR 6496, State of Texas versus Brian Parker. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
And Eric DeWalt, and I represent Mr. Parker, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Parker?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we are in a middle of a jury trial. Jury has been selected but not sworn in yet. So Mr. Parker, you are aware that you have a right to a jury trial.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you wish to continue to proceed with the jury trial, or do you wish to enter a plea? And have you had an opportunity to discuss entering a plea with your attorney as opposed to proceeding with the jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. You received all the discovery and reviewed it with your client.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Parker, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Parker, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with felon in possession of a firearm? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And the court will again state for the record, a jury has been selected. Are you asking the court to allow you to enter this plea and not proceed with the jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Very much so.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Parker, has anyone threatened, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement,
No, ma'am.
which there is no plea bargain agreement? You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You are pleading open to the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you understand that the court will make a decision on whether or not to grant your application and also whether or not to send you to prison? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that, do you still wish to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And counsel, the only motions that the court is aware of is the motion in limine. Were there any other motions beyond that?
I had tendered pretrial motions, but you didn't rule on them. We're fine, Your Honor.
Okay.
We're ready to proceed.
Outside your agreement or the request, because there is no agreement, the request from the state is that your supervision be for a term of 2 years, there'd be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Again, did you understand that this is a plea that's open to the court? Those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to consider those recommendations. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Yes,
Yeah, just for the record, the recommendation was for 2 years deferred adjudication. That was our recommendation.
okay.
And a fine.
Again, we were going to probate the fine, Your Honor.
All right. But again,
It's
you
okay.
understand that those are recommendations from the state, but you are pleading open to the court. So the court does not have to follow or consider any of those recommendations. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Again, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Then to the offenses charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, ma'am.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Judge, state offers state exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Your Honor, we've had an opportunity to go over that in its entirety. No objections to its amendments.
Mr. Parker, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, you understand that a jury has been selected in this case, and the state, if you were proceeding with jury trial, the state would have to present witnesses in order to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand today, the state will not be presenting any witnesses. The state will be presenting their evidence in the form of judgments, police reports, and witnesses' statements, but there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. With regards to his application for deferred adjudication, the court will hear argument. State,
Your Honor, we're recommending deferred adjudication. Due to the nature of the case, it is one where we felt that it was appropriate here.
defense,
If I may, Your Honor, I got to know Mr. Parker through this period getting ready for trial. He is a convicted felon. He pled during the pandemic year when he was in custody for a 1244 and understands that he's not supposed to be around weapons or anything like that. When we chose to go forward, he heard that you took off the plea deadline. And so we understand that we are pleading open to the court. In getting to know Mr. Parker, his outward demeanor is very quiet and stoic, but once I got to know him, he's intelligent, he's caring, and he's a hard worker, but he has 7 children. We got a good chance to talk last night. He went and talked to his family, and he understands that deferred adjudication isn't an option going to a jury. It's either guilty or not guilty. And he weighed all his options. That's why he's coming today asking me or asking the court to possibly consider deferred adjudication. I believe this is a changing point in his life. I know the state recommended to waive the fine, which helps my client tremendously. But I believe he will be successful on your deferred adjudication, and he's seen the justice system work in a different way, seeing the jury and coming this far. I know he's asking for a chance at deferred adjudication. I'm asking that you follow the state's quasi recommendation and please grant him deferred adjudication.
all right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
No.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Brian Parker?
All right. Are you employed?
No, not right now, man.
So how are you supporting 7 children?
I go to honor and staffing. I do that like frequently. Whenever they have a job opening, so I recently was working at True Blue Granite and Stone, but I had to quit because I had to start watching my kids.
Children, kids or baby goats?
You know?
Kids or baby goats? So you're watching your children. How old are your children?
My oldest is 14. I've been taking care of him since he was 2.
But no, I want the ages of all your children.
My biological ones,
All right, how many biological children do you
I
have?
got 6 biologicals, and I've been taking care of.
What are their ages? The 6?
8, 6, and my boy 5, 4, 3, and 2.
And the other child that you say is not your biological child?
He's 14.
Now, so you have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and 8-year-old. What are their dates of birth?
One is
Well,
December
let's start with the
2nd.
8-year-old. What's the date of birth?
Her name's Anna. She's December 2nd, 2014.
6-year-old,
Zelaya Harris, December 19th, 2016.
5-year-old,
E. Anthony, he was born October 20th, 2015.
I mean, you're doing a question with me. I wasn't there.
I don't know the years that they was born. I can tell you all their birthdays, and
Well, they need that. Let me just give you a hint. Moms are tired of being in charge of keeping birth certificates.
Mhm.
Moms have to keep the birth certificates. Mom keeps the social security cards. Dads need to start knowing that. So you need to know everybody. So the 4-year-old, what's the date of birth?
Yes, ma'am. October the 4th,
3-year-old?
October the 4th. I mean, no, his is February 22nd. And then I got the 2-year-old October 4th. They both by the same mama. They end up having the same birthday.
All right.
They 2 years
So you
apart.
have, so that's the same mother.
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
How many mothers are with these children?
I only have two.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. And the 14-year-old, what's the date of birth?
His is February 5th. I don't know. I'm not his real father, but I've been there since he was like 2.
Well, see, I hate when people say they're not somebody's real father.
But I'm really,
You're the stepfather, or
No, I'm
you're
really,
just somebody passing
No,
through.
I'm his real father, but I ain't mean like, bloodline. No. But I've been there since day one.
All right, you're gonna have to get a job. You have to support children.
Yes, ma'am.
As I tell everyone, children, you cannot put them at Travis Park and say, you've been created, go forth and live.
Yes, ma'am.
And children need more than love. I know people say, I love my children, I give them love. This is not Little House on the Prairie where somebody's working, bringing in the crops. You've got to financially support them. So it takes love, it takes financial support, and all of the children are going to need help with schoolwork. How far did you go in school?
Oh, I got my GED at like 16.
And what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life to better yourself?
I honestly just see my life as just raising my kids, making sure they don't go through what I went through.
Well, I mean, it's more than raising your children, because kids are baby goats.
Mhm.
So, no, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm trying to figure out where you're planning on going with your life, because a minimum wage job, it's going to be very difficult, even if the mothers are helping you and you all are pooling your money. A middle-aged job for 7 children is really not a lot. And then if your children decide to go to college, I think everybody here can tell you, depending on what they want to do when they go to college, every one of these children is at a minimum of $100,000. So 7 children, if they all decide to go to college, that's $700,000.
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to start a trade at SCI, but I had stopped there too. I was trying to get a trade for HVAC, but I stopped there too. I was just started watching the kids.
Kids are baby goats.
Baby goats.
That's the definition of a kid. It's a baby goat.
Oh, children.
Yes. All right, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, when you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you are going to get drug tested today.
Marijuana.
And what else?
That's it.
All right. You're not allowed to use marijuana on probation. You're not allowed to drink alcohol while on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And marijuana is not something that you should be using, period, when you have children, because you're trying to set an example for them.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you say, well, I only smoke marijuana outside the household. Guess what? Your clothes smell like marijuana. And then children go to school smelling like marijuana. And then when children go to school smelling like marijuana, guess what? All the other children know what marijuana smells like, and they tease them. Ha ha, your dad used marijuana. Ha ha, your dad doesn't have a job. Because children can be cruel. And sometimes people say children are really, really cruel. They just don't have a filter. So they just come at it 100% honesty. And sometimes that's true, but then sometimes children have been raised a certain way and they are cruel. So don't let that be a hindrance from your children, something that you've been doing that's impacting their life in a negative way. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. There's a $1,500 fine. And who's taking care of the 7 children right now?
Their mothers, like now. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, where are they?
Like today, right now?
Yes, because they're not in the
School.
courtroom.
Everybody in school.
Well, not the 2-year-old
The 2-year-old go to daycare.
and the 3-year-old.
He the only one that ain't in school.
So who's taking care of him?
His mama.
All right. So basically, you're going to get a job.
That's fine. I always get a job.
Well, you say that, but you don't have a job right now.
It's because
So yes.
yes, ma'am.
All right, you're getting a job. You're getting employment. You're an adult male. I will tell you, in my household, and I say my household, but when I was growing up, you know what the rules were in the household? You're either going to school or you're getting a full-time job. The end. There was none of this. Oh, I have these children. I'm taking care of them because I can't find a job. No. And I think all sexes are equal, but at the same time, there's just something odd about a man not getting a job to support 7 children and the mothers getting jobs to support 7 children. It takes a team effort. And I think people here who are parents will tell you it takes a team effort to raise children. And part of that team effort is everybody bringing money into the household. All right, there's going to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month until further notice. I'm going to want UAs. We're going to test for levels. And we're going to do the UA hotline until further notice. Those levels had better start going down. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I want him evaluated for gang supervision. 4 years deferred adjudication. We're going to do a TAP evaluation. If the TAP evaluation comes back with inpatient treatment or intensive outpatient treatment, we're going to start off with outpatient treatment with probation. I'm going to want 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you get the COVID vaccination with the booster. The court is not requiring you to do that, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to want parenting classes with PPP. Once you complete those parenting classes, the remaining hours will be waived, but you must complete parenting classes. Do you understand? There should be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Probation, if you wish to count the field visits as reporting, you may do that. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Once a week. Is there anything else? All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Now's your time to say, Judge, I really need this. This would really help me.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Is there any way, I understand you put in a $1,500 fine, any way to hold it in abeyance to get him started on the right track?
Oh, I probated it.
Oh, thank you, Judge.
Sure. All right, is there anything else you need from the court? Are you sure? Now's the time to ask. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because you pled open to the court, but you waived your right to appeal. You do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And can I see that for one moment, Mr. DeWalt? I just need to correct this part. Because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And now you know, even though it's a 1244, you are not allowed to possess any weapons or ammunition because a 1244 conviction under certain circumstances is a felony conviction. You understand?
Yes.
And from here on out, everything that you do, you need to be asking yourself, is this a choice that could potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? Do you understand? If there's a confusion, you think, maybe it will, maybe it won't, don't do it. If your answer is like, yes, if I get caught, this is what's going to happen, then don't do it. Because otherwise you have the potential for going to prison for 10 years, in which case your 2-year-old will be 12, potentially by the time you come out. And I think the last thing you would want is for your children to be visiting you at the Bear County Jail or at some prison. You understand? All right. All right, probation will go over conditions with you.
Should we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Sorry, I put it in the wrong file. All right, who's here on Jesus Martinez Cantu?
That would be me.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 10115, State of Texas versus Maricela Alonso. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ruben Herrera for the state.
Defense?
Attorney Bill Simmons for defense.
And are you Mr. Alonso?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Miss Alonso. Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you guys could move a little bit over. Okay. Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, with the repeat offender enhancement allegation?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with endangering a child? Normally, that's a state jail felony. The range of punishment would be anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
But because the state is proceeding on the repeat enhancement allegation, it is now third-degree felony. The range of punishment is 2 to 10 years and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes. Ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
In my opinion, she does, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, she was, Your Honor.
Ms. Alonso, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine and the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense? Is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. Did you understand that was a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation?
Yes.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
Your Honor, state, state exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
Ms. Alonso, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements, police reports, and judgments, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just pray that the court follow the plea agreement. He's taken many affirmative steps to address these issues, and she looks forward to completing this probation successfully.
All right. Ms. Alonso, how many children do you have?
After,
What are their ages?
14 and 3.
All right, so I'm assuming that your previous endangering a child involved the 14-year-old.
Yes.
And that was you driving while intoxicated? And now you have a 3-year-old and there's an endangering of child and it involves you being intoxicated at a bus stop holding your child.
Yes.
What is your issue?
My issue is my alcoholism.
So I don't understand, how are you going to address that? Because it appears to me that you are putting your children's lives constantly in danger.
Yes.
So-
So I've been working on my recovery. I've been to rehab, to Volunteers in America, and I went to ITP at Haven for Hope, and then I also attended IOP after ITP at the Alamo Center, and I'm currently residing at an Oxford house. And I attend my AA meetings weekly. I do 3 a week, sometimes more. I'm involved with my home group and my Oxford house. I was doing volunteer work at Alamo Center where I was doing IOP while I was working the nights. But now I have moved up from my job position to day shift, so I can no longer volunteer there, but I still keep in contact with those people and
And where are your children?
so my little one, my 3-year-old, I have him, me and my uncle have an understanding that he will reside with my uncle for quite some time, right? Because I do have a lot to work on for myself. So we just, our priority, of course, is keeping him safe and keeping him with the family. And my 14-year-old, he stays with my mom.
All right, and how often do you see the 3-year-old?
So my 3-year-old, I see him every Sunday.
All right, and is it just your 3-year-old and the uncle, or is there somebody else there?
So my uncle and my aunt always supervise. I
Sure.
go and visit at their house.
All right, so your uncle and aunt actually have your 3-year-old.
Yes.
And how often is the 14-year-old seeing his brother?
So the 14-year-old about every other week, because he visits me at my Oxford, my 14-year-old. And so he'll come around about every other weekend, and so we make it a point for them to visit.
Okay, so how long are you going to be at Oxford home?
A minimum of 1.5 years is what I'm being told. Like a recommendation of staying to
So how long have you been there?
about 5 months.
So here's the thing, I know, and I'm aware of Oxford House. I know they say that's a minimum, but I don't want you moving from the Oxford House without first discussing with your probation officer and getting approval from the court. You understand?
Yes.
Okay,
And I wouldn't make any move, of course, until I'm speaking with my probation officer. Any move I make or I'm willing.
If I may, Your Honor, she has certificates to solidify everything that she said today, the affirmative steps she's taken, and her sponsors here as well. So,
all
and she did speak with probation, with the prosecutor.
okay,
with the affirmative.
all right. All right, thank you.
That's not a word.
So is there anything else that I need to know about you? Where do you see your life going? Where do you want it to go?
Well, I wanted to continue on. So right now, I have a job that I never thought I was gonna have Monday to Friday, like an 8 to 5, 9 to 6 type of job. And I moved up in my position, I'm getting advancement. Like my recovery is without me being in recovery, none of this would be possible. So of course, I would still maintain my AA meetings and my home group and staying involved in the recovery. Because there's other activities out there. It's not just about going to meetings. There's a lot of other activities out there that involve recovery, and those are other organizations that I want to get involved with. So just continuing to move forward and staying positive and keeping my children safe is the priority of everything. Because
Okay.
if I'm not sober, if I'm not just, then I can't do that for my
Is
children.
Child Protective Services involved or no?
No.
All right. Well, I'm glad you are doing better because, as you know, the 3-year-old and the 14-year-old depend on you. And some people who have children who are 30 still depend on them.
Mm.
Right. And 21-year-olds still depend on you. So if you're not healthy, then they can't depend on you. So I'm glad you're putting your life in the right direction.
It took me a long time, as you can see, for me to actually start doing this.
All right, well, I will tell you, I've done a lot of work with treatment courts and it's every day at a time, one day at a time. Make sure you always remain vigilant, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I don't know if your sponsor wanted to say something.
We were entertained, but I believe she said everything.
Did the sponsor need to say anything?
I was just saying.
Oh, you can come forward. All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
did. Sunny Science.
All right, that's a nice name. Sunny, when people say your first name is Sunny, it just brightens everybody's day.
My mother's very Southern.
Oh, where is she from?
She's from Texas.
All right, no, you can't be any more Southern than Louisiana. So
Oh, well,
you
you
and
know
I
what?
gotta have.
You're right. Yeah, Texas is kind of its own thing.
All right. So what did you wish to say?
I was gonna say that I'm a pretty intense sponsor when it comes to working with, for over 11 years. I've been working with a lot of women and I've seen Maricela on her journey and sometimes we followed it, but I've never seen Maricela with the freedom that she has right now because she's doing what she needs to do. And so she's the one that chose to put the kids in with her. It was her choice to put them in with her aunt and uncle and the teenager where he wants to stay in his high school with, his grandmother. And she's still very much involved. And even though she wants to have them with her, she knows what's best for them. And it's just amazing to me. It's just, she's different this time.
All right, thank you so much.
I learned from her.
Oh, awesome. And thank you for being a sponsor. We need to have, sponsors for people, somebody they can pick up the phone and call if they're having a bad day, because bad days do happen.
Yes.
All right. And thank you so much for coming to court with her.
Oh, thank you for letting me have a voice.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, one thing I left out was we were asking if the court would consider probating an amount of the fine that's not opposed by the state.
Oh, I always probate the fine unless there's a reason for me not to probate it.
No objection.
Okay. All right, the court will sentence you to 4 years in prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. There will be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I am going to want parenting classes. If they're providing parenting classes where you are, those classes can count. And once you complete those parenting classes, the remaining of the hours will be waived. You're to reside at Oxford House. And you're to continue with current treatment And probation, she'll provide you a release because they're going to need a release for you to continue with that treatment. And your provider is going to need to make sure they stay in contact with probation to make sure they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to, I will say field visits probation, but just check in once a month to make sure that she's still at Oxford House. And we'll do regular UAs and probation. Usually at Oxford House, they'll send them for UAs. If you want to use those UAs as your UAs, you can, but I'm going to want regular UAs, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. Continue on the path that you're on. All right, you're welcome. All right, who's here on Christopher Garza?
Very honored for the defense judge.
Hello.
Judge.
All right, he needs to be in the center. All right, this is scheduled for trial.
Yes, Judge. Judge, we picked a jury yesterday at the 290th.
All right. Well, your counsel is in jury trial, so he can't be in two places at the same time. So, Ms. Ferguson, this needs to be set for jury. And is it family violence the week of the 23rd or no?
Yes.
All right. So are we able to set this January 24th?
They would have to come back on the 23rd. Is that a Monday?
Yes.
Yes, it would be the 23rd.
All right. So we're going to bring you back on the 23rd for your jury trial,
And they need to go to.
and it will be in impact court. And counsel, I do have the discovery acknowledgement. You have all the discovery, correct? I mean, it's been signed.
Was signed.
Yes,
By me?
sure.
It's not my signature. I think this is Corrales' signature. Through my own investigation, when discovery was initially provided, I made a discovery request and extra discovery was provided. I can't say that I have every single piece of evidence because as I keep on investigating the case, there might be something else that comes up. So I can't say that I have every bit of discovery.
I mean, you are going to have to sign a discovery acknowledgement.
Correct, Judge.
Yes.
Yes, but I can't say that we're good to go and everything's fine because I haven't provided extra discovery since taking over the case.
All right, so this is going to jury trial on the 23rd. Mr. Garza, if you wish to be addressed in any type of different attire, you need to do a clothing exchange with your attorney.
Yes.
If there's an issue with the clothing exchange, let the court know. There is an issue?
Yes.
What is the issue? Oh, you can step back.
Oh. Very good.
Your Honor, my wife brought me clothes, or has clothes for me to wear, and the jail would not accept them. So they said that my lawyer needs to bring them himself.
It has to be documented by the attorney, has to be like a letterhead.
Oh, so he just needs to do a letterhead saying that his wife has permission to exchange the clothing? All right, so you'll have to do a letter and get it to his wife saying that she has permission to exchange out his clothes.
Order, Judge.
And just make sure you sign the clothing exchange. If there's an issue with that, you need to let us know ASAP, because otherwise he's going to be in trial in a t-shirt and chinos.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Have you excused, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lucia, you were late. Why were you late?
I was running behind because my ride was there and I was To tell you the truth, I woke up a little late.
All right. See, let me just tell you, in this court, it's always best to start with the truth. Because at the end of the day, if you say the truth, apologize, then everybody moves on. It's when you don't speak the truth,
Yes, ma'am.
then there are issues.
Yes, ma'am.
And I always say, once you apologize to somebody for something, if they're still mean or nasty about it, you've done your part and that's all you can do.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this court, I don't tolerate people being late. Now, because we moved courtrooms, because we used to be at the end of the hallway,
Yes.
for everybody, when it's their first time of the year coming here, I give them a little leeway because maybe they went to the end of the hallway. So I know now, you know where this court is and you cannot be late anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what's happening with this case?
Well, Your Honor, I believe it's gonna work out. We have another case setting on a misdemeanor, Your Honor, we have to deal with first. And that's why I'm asked to come back on the 6th and it's set on the 2nd.
All right, and is this case somehow tied to what happens in the misdemeanor court?
It will be, Your Honor.
State, have you tendered an offer?
Yeah, a general offer?
Yeah.
Judge? Yes.
All right, and you're asking that this come back March 6th?
Yes, I'll be back on the 6th.
All right,
MTR. Judge.
Ms. Ferguson, are you able to put Mr. Luciel on March 6th? All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you a reset date for March 6th. Mr. Luciel, March 6th will be your plea deadline date, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you a reset form.
Once again, I apologize for being late.
Oh, thank you. See, we're done.
Have a seat.